Good afternoon and welcome to America's Home Cooking. What we are doing today is we're back in that 1796 cookbook. And this time we're going to make a rice pudding. Hold on a minute. But this rice pudding is made with wine. I hope I can get that bottle open. If I can't, we're not going to have this. I'm not good at open wine bottles. We need 1 quart of milk. Okay, that's not going to cut it. I'm going to need to open up the other one. So this is number 3. There's like about six, seven of these pudding recipes. But this one I wanted to make because it's made with wine. And I recommend using white wine because the rice is going to be white. Like I said, it's the only time I use white rice is if I am making a bread pudding. I mean, it will survive in my house for a very long time. Now they're also explicit about I'm going to need to pour the rice into a bowl because it's packed up to the rim and there's no way I'm going to get a spoon in it. So we'll do it this way. Now they want 8 spoons. Now remember, they're not going to be using our measuring spoons. We have to think of how they would be functioning. And they would have wooden spoons. So we're going to put 8 of these in. She doesn't even say if they're supposed to be level or not, so I'm going to be putting them in like this. So just put it, heaping wooden spoons is all you can do. I don't know the sizes of her spoons, but I knew at that time they used wooden spoons, so I'm using wooden spoons, so I think I'm pretty much on the page that she wants. And did I rinse my rice? Yeah. Nah. I'm just going to sit there and put it in and cook it, don't worry. He usually takes care of that. I hope this is a screw top. Now we're going to turn this on. She wants it on low flame, and we're going to bring this to a boil as I try to open up a wine bottle. Please be a screw and not a cork. In my luck, it'll probably be a cork. Please be a screw. Dang it. It's got to be a cork. If I can't get this cork out, this recipe's going to stop. Hence, right now. Oh, God. Okay. And all my sons have to be working. One said, I was going to stay home today, Mommy. I wished he did. He could do this for me. Heather and I were trying to get one going. So if I fail at this, it's only because I'm a woman. See, I've got this kind of cork. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. My husband always did this. And after he died, my sons did this for me. They have to be working today, and I decided to do this, not thinking. I told him, I hope you give me a bottle that has a screw on it and not a cork. Okay. Oh God, I don't even want to do this. If it comes out, oh, it's coming, it's coming. I'll be dang. Don't break, don't break. I did it my first time, and I can't believe that. Okay, now let's see, how do I get this thing off of this thing? Okay, guys, you didn't tell me how to get this thing off. Okay, I guess I gotta go this way. Oh, that's taking it in. Do any of you know how to get the cork off this mother? I got it off, now I can't get it in. Get it off. I got it. Take it out of the bottle. Okay. I'm gonna need one of these. Well, till somebody gets home, that's gonna have to work. I can't get this off. So when I'm done with this video, I will call my sons and let them know I need help. I have to taste this. I know this is a sherry glass. I'm going to put some wine in because I have to taste it, know what I'm going up against, and I don't drink. That's enough for me. By the way, you better use white wine with this because the rice is white and you don't want to put a red and then you end up with a pink rice. I think that'll be all right. All right, put you back there. Now we got this open, okay. Now we're ready to move. Ta-da, ta-da. The annex I go through cooking. Now my sons have to show me how to get the cork off. See, most of the time when I use wine, I usually don't have wine left over when I'm cooking with it, or the bottle's already open, which my sons are good at opening, but they left. I should have started this when they were home today, but I didn't. Okay, so we're gonna cook this. And it's talking about, might as well give you some of the instructions. You're gonna have to get a stick and a half of butter because they want 6 ounces of butter. And the recipe reads 8 eggs, but remember they had smaller chickens. I mean, if they say quarter chickens and fry them, you know those birds were smaller. So when they say 8 eggs, for every 2 eggs, it equals 1 of our eggs, say. So I got the 4 eggs out. And I have a stick and a half of butter, which is 6 ounces. So there's gonna be a lot of butter in this one. This one doesn't have the currants in it. This one has the wine in it. So as you can see, they go in different directions. There's a really poor, they say a poor man's, and it's written right there, a poor man's. They call it a cheap one. When you really pinch for stuff, how to make a cheap rice pudding as well. Now they want us to bring this to a boil and cook this rice, right? Am I correct? Yes, we're gonna boil the rice in a quart of milk. Once we've done that, we're going to add the butter to it because it'll be hot enough to melt the butter and cool. She doesn't say to do that, but I think we should. And then we're going to let it sit while we start beating the eggs and we get the nutmeg and the cinnamon going and the wine and the sugar, because we're going to have to taste this. And I'm going to have to taste this before I even add the eggs, or I'll be eating raw eggs. So I'll have everything in it and then we'll adjust the taste of it all. So they allow you to make it as sweet as you want, but I do notice that she did not mention rose water in this one, but it was mentioned in other ones, especially the one that has the currants in it with rose water, and the other one that I had showed you, but this one doesn't. This one puts wine in place, I think, of the rose water, and I don't know how much wine we're going to put in, but till it tastes good. And we'll be grinding fresh nutmeg. So keep stirring this and be careful because the rice can burn. And we will be cooking it at 325 in the oven because they would use a low temperature, and I think it would take about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, somewhere around there. So this will be called rice pudding made with wine. I really want to try it, by the way. And you're also going to need, I don't know, I think we're going to use a baking dish glass, and we're going to have to butter it. They do tell us they want the dish buttered. And I have butter in the dish. I think it's a 1.5 quart. We're going to, no, this is, yeah, maybe 1.5 quart is the size they want us to use. And we'll definitely get it in the oven. I might set it in water like I did last time to make sure it doesn't burn on the bottom. Well, I don't think she would have done that. Maybe she did. Well, I did last time just to make sure. I might do it again just to make sure, because if they put it on the oven, that would mean that it would have to actually be on the fire. So she might have had it hanging above something. Or she would have a 3-prong that sits over in the flames there. It heats the oven up. You know, she'd have the heat there, and then she'd have like a 3 or 4 prong, and then she could set the pudding on top of it. I'm trying to think of how she would do it, that's all. You're hearing my thoughts going. But anyway, I'm going to keep on stirring this until the rice is done, and then we'll continue. Okay, let me get you over here so you can see what I'm doing. Let me tilt you down. You see it's boiling? I'm going to turn it off. And we're going to let this sit and let the rice do what it has to do. Now they're talking about they want the butter added. Now if you add the butter while it's cold, correct? It's not going to melt, and it's going to have to melt. So I'm going to go ahead and put the butter in while it's hot here. If it cools down and the rice doesn't cook all the way, I'll just turn it back on. I have no problems doing that. But I think you're going to have to add the butter now that the milk has done what it's going to do, which is boil. We're going to start adding butter in. So when they say 6 ounces, please remember they're talking about 1.5 sticks of butter. See why it's so important that you know the history of food and stuff. Other than that, you have to depend upon everybody else to tell you how to do this. But once you have that language and you understand the history of cooking, you can maneuver with it. See, I know this is still hot. Now we have to let this sit and cool, and then I'll be back. Okay, I got a Pyrex dish. I don't know how much pudding this will make. This is probably a little on the big side because they didn't make the amounts that we made, but we're gonna have to butter this dish. She also doesn't tell us how much wine to put in it, so we're going to be left at our own judgment with the wine and the seasonings and the sugar and how it tastes to our taste buds. So I'm going to do the best I can. You might want more wine, you might want less, but don't worry about the wine because when you bake it, you're cooking the liquor part out of it, and all what you're going to have is the flavor. So if you have a nice wine, it should come across very nicely. Okay, I'm done buttering that. Okay, I noticed the butter cooled down the milk a bit too much, so what I've done is bring it back to a boil. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, right? I brought it back to a boil to heat the butter up. As it melted, it cooled the milk down so the rice couldn't absorb it as much. So that's why I turned the flame back on and I stirred it till it came to a boil and the butter was melted. Then I turned it off. Now you're noticing as it's cooling, it's got a film on it. Stir the film in, that's the butter. Stir it back in. Hold on. I need my glass. I'm gonna pour 2 spoons of wine in this, maybe 3. Yeah, probably 3. They don't tell me. Yeah, about 3 to 4, I would think. Sugar. Okay. Let me get something. I'll be right back. Well, I am going to add a half a cup, I guess, to start off with. I'll stir that with the cinnamon and nutmeg before I add the eggs to it, because I'm going to have to taste this to see where we're going with this. I'm going to get all the flavors, and then we'll be able to decide if we need more wine. But I put in 3 spoons of the wine, cinnamon, oh God. Come on, guys, break for me. About this much cinnamon, I guess a little more than about a teaspoon. We'll see. We're going to see how this tastes before we get to the eggs. Nutmeg. I have a half a nutmeg here, so I'm going to grate half a nutmeg and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to grate her this whole piece of nutmeg. Well, it's a half a piece of a nutmeg, and we'll see how it tastes. We'll probably add a little more sugar, I'm sure. Turn your oven to 325. Because it's the time she's talking about. It's going to be some time that it's going to be cooking, so we're going to assume at that temperature. She might have done it at 300 for the amount of time that she wants to cook it. But we'll do it this way. Don't drop in. No, I think I'll end up dropping this sooner or later. How can I hold this piece? So as you can see, the women really, when they made a simple dessert, what we call simple, they really had to work. Greater in seasonings and getting everything together. I'm getting there. Sorry. I was thinking about buying some Cornish hens, 4 of them. Or maybe just, yeah, I'd have to buy 4 and quarter them and fry them. See how they come out. You know, taking that fried chicken recipe that they have instead of using the large chickens that we have today. And just see how they come out. Okay. Look, I only got this much left, so I think I pretty much grated half a nutmeg. I want to mix all this up thoroughly. And then we can taste it for sugar, and if we want to add more wine to it, or what we're going to do with it. I don't even have a spoon here to taste it. I'll be right back. The smell is coming through very well. When you walk into the kitchen, you can actually smell it. I think I'm going to add another 1/4 of a cup of sugar to this. About another 2 tablespoons of wine. This is a mild wine that I'm using, but if you have a stronger one, you'll have to adjust it accordingly to that. I'm not gonna lie to you, it does taste good. To get the wine taste, you're gonna have to add the wine till you can actually taste it. I wonder, she said, to your choice. Yeah, that would make sense. gonna like this very much. You see, it's coming together quite nice. Let me turn it down. I'm trying to get you to see it, but you know, what can we do with the lighting? I'll have to get some light bulbs. Okay, I'm going to stop there and we're going to get the eggs ready. The wine with half a nutmeg and some cinnamon. Really, look, it's for my family. Don't get upset. It's really good. Now we'll add the eggs. I thought I had. This should be good enough to do this. So when you make this, you have to make sure that you sit there and you have the wine taste, the cinnamon and nutmeg come together. I used half a nutmeg and probably a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon, but I poured about 6-7 wooden spoonfuls of wine into it. Yeah, they won't. Now we're going to put these 4 eggs in here and mix it up thoroughly. God, this is going to taste good. I've already tried it. You can take my word. I know it's good. Let's clean this area off. Oh my God, it tastes so different from anything that you would ever experience. So this makes me very happy because I love trying things that come out well. When somebody gives me a bad recipe, believe me, I'm never a happy camper about it. Don't share something if it's not good. All right, you can see that I've got this well mixed. Now I can't taste it now because there is a raw egg in it. So there's 4 raw eggs in it. Take your buttered Pyrex. Oh, 2 quart is the right size. This is a big batch. I guess they made it like this for the holidays. You know? I have to admit, this is one of the best rice puddings I have tasted. It's not even cooked yet completely. But anyway, we are going to bake this for They want us to bake this 2 whole hours. I don't want to dry out on the top, so I'm going to put a lid on it. So, I will see you. I have you underneath the counter. Let me move you out. Oh my goodness. Anyway. I'll see you in 2 hours. This is going to be good. Believe you me. When you put the wine and the seasonings and sugar together, make sure you can taste that wine. And don't be skimpy on those herbs so they come up. Well, they call them spices because they're sweet. But anyway, do that, you will not be disappointed. I cannot wait to have this one. Oh, 1 o'clock, okay. That'll be for, I'll see you in a couple of hours.